Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. This is another video, a recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. A lot to break down, so let's get into it. As always, before we get into anything, I always love to know where are you watching from and how would you rate the latest episode between 1 and 10. I probably would rate this episode a solid 7. Because the more I watched all of this play out, it's not fun to watch. The best part of this episode for me probably was seeing Trina. And I might be a little bit biased because I've interviewed Trina twice over the years, and she's probably one of my favorite people that I've ever interviewed. One of my favorite, because she's just so damn down to earth, so damn likable, and I get why everyone in the industry loves her. Okay? But we'll get to that in a second. This episode starts off, and it's called Queen versus Queen. And honestly, I only see one queen here, and I don't think it's Mia. But anyways, Mia deactivated her social media, now has reactivated it. But check the comments. Y'all are still giving it to Mia about everything that played out during last week's episode. Well, this continues this week, and Mia, I'm going home. I have an 8:30 flight the next day, as you know. The last part of last week's episode was Dr. Wendy Acefo calling out Monique's name in the episode and calling out Giselle for being such a hypocrite. And I agree with her. It's so funny. If you missed it yesterday during our recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville, I talked about Monique and Chris Samuels not returning to Love and Marriage DC. Apparently, there's going to be some other couples coming to the season, and a lot of you are like, we don't care. And a lot of you didn't want to see Monique return anyway, especially because of the way that she was behaving with Chris. Well, now people are speculating that Monique is setting herself up for a return to Bravo. I don't know what she's doing. I can't make sense or figure out what this is going to mean for Monique. But based on what we saw of Monique on Love and Marriage DC, I'm okay with her not coming back anywhere. But I do agree with Dr. Wendy Acefo when she says, Giselle, you're a hypocrite. Which is interesting because in this episode, Giselle wants to call her out for being a hypocrite because of her support of Dr. Wendy Acefo. And she's like, well, you were literally writing character letters for Monique, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, violence, no violence. Well, we should also allow people to change their minds because I have to tell you, after the whole Monique and Candiace situation from a couple of seasons ago, I really did change my mind because I was one of those people like violence is never the answer, but I come to understand that everyone reacts very differently. Is it the way that I would have reacted? No. Do I think that Monique was wrong in the moment? Yes, because girl, you're jeopardizing your life, your career, and it didn't need to get to the level that it got to or the dramatization of it all. But do I believe that everyone played a part in that situation? Yes. Do I believe a lot of people played a part in this particular situation with Wendy and Mia? Yes. And look, I love to twerk on the fence. And you also have to keep in mind, Karen is also a Taurus like myself. So she's the queen of twerking on the fence. But I will never understand how Giselle, Mia, Robin, and even Jacqueline saying, well, I think coming from Karen, she needed to pick a side and diffuse the situation. Why is that on Karen's back? You all are grown. You all could have stepped in to diffuse the situation. And I agree with Karen. She's like, you were wrong, Mia, for doing what you did. And Wendy was wrong for talking about G. But a lot of you are saying, well, she really didn't say too much about G for that reaction. Especially after you were the first person to throw a drink on someone else. So Mia, I didn't believe Mia was leaving anyway. Giselle was like, I want to go check on Mia. Where was that energy for Monique? Look, it's so clear in our mind that situation with the Monique and Candiace situation because it wasn't that long ago. And of course, it continues to come up since then. So much so that we have Candiace and Monique, well, at least Monique talking about the situation from last season on social media and Candiace responding to it. We're not going to go down that yellow brick road, okay? Let's move on at this point. Monique is no longer on the show. But I don't know how you guys are feeling. They're on a girls trip, and we've watched so many girls trips on The Real Housewives, this one is not giving me fun. It's giving me kind of boring, to be honest. Because what are we doing? Just arguing? Are we going to have a good time at any point? Have we had a good time yet? I don't think so.
I do not have time for this.
So Dr. Wendy Asefo is rightfully upset because she already knows all of these women are turning against her and justifying what Mia did. And Candiace is not even there yet. Candiace does end up coming later in the episode. Well, not later, in the early part of this episode. And she comes later that night. And that's when Robin tells Candiace everything that happened and why Wendy decided to leave the house. And Mia, you did not pay for that house. It's been pretty much... Andy never wants to confirm that Bravo is paying for these trips, but they are. They are paying for these trips. In the early days, it was sort of like give or take, not always. It was never clear cut. But at this point, you didn't pay for that house. She is so immature. And so you would never think that this woman has gone through so much and was forced to really grow up as a child because of her parents and is a parent herself. You would never know. And look, I thought for a moment that, it's so funny that she lies, but at least she admits that she lies after she's lied multiple times. But at this point, you're trying to assault people. You're throwing things on people. You're disinviting people, telling people look, Ashley is me. Me in that moment, like, really? Really? No, girl, I'm coming back because we all know you didn't pay for this house. We know how this house was paid for. I will be sleeping in my room. But Ashley, we got to call you out because yes, now you want to be, the friend to Dr. Wendy Asefo. But Dr. Wendy Asefo will see the behavior that you were exhibiting before Candiace arrived by going to grab and trying to change her room assignment. And luckily, Dr. Wendy left because where would have Candiace, that would have been a whole other situation. Candiace doesn't have a room. What was the joke behind that? It's one thing to have to share a room, but it's equal accommodations. Maybe it's not the best room. We've seen that countless times, especially with Roni. But Candiace didn't have a room at all? And you guys thought that was funny? Okay. We've talked about all of what this all looks like on the show. I talked about it extensively last week. But it still looks disgusting. And Andy Cohen, you are in no position to sit there and moderate a conversation on racism, colorism, or anything amongst these women. So, Bravo, I hope that you're watching and you figure this out before the reunion. No one wants to see it or hear it from Andy Cohen when navigating this conversation. Just saying. Moving along. Okay, let me just focus. Let me focus, y'all. Let me focus. When we do this live, how it all plays out. This is pre-recorded, but there will be a live chat. Let's have the conversation there. So, anyways, back to this. So Ashley says the one thing that stood out to her, the throwing of the drink, she didn't like that, but it was what happened afterwards. And she literally watched it in slow motion when Mia tried to attack Wendy from the back with her bag. Wendy is like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm going to stay at another place. The mean girls are having a conversation in another room, talking about Wendy. It's just so, you would never know that these women are the age that they are. And we already know maturity does not necessarily come with age. Not for everyone. Giselle. Sidebar. Before they left the restaurant, Giselle's like, I got to have dessert. Yeah, no, I'm a tourist. I love food. I mean, I could respect it. But I can also respect Karen. Say, this woman's stomach is bottomless. Oh, I love Karen. When is Karen's birthday celebration going to actually begin? Honestly, we keep saying that we're going to celebrate Karen and it never happens. Even next week's episode, when are we going to really celebrate Karen and her birthday? I thought this was supposed to be her birthday trip. If anything, she should have had the best room, and she didn't. Anyways, so as I said to you before, Giselle was calling out Ashley for being hypocritical. And look, we already know that Ashley's a snake. Ashley, you trying to be there for Dr. Wendy this week is not going to change all of your behavior over the seasons and in this season alone. So I haven't forgotten about that. But I appreciate you trying to be there for Dr. Wendy, unlike the other ladies, even if you have issues with someone. Anyways, so Candiace did arrive that night, and the night before, Robin tells her everything that happened, and Robin is making all the excuses, and she's showing Candiace the video footage that she captured. Robin, you are just so sad. And Robin, why were you rubbing it on that young man on the beach? And like she wasn't just like rubbing, she was just like, and it was like multiple times. Now, if Juan Dixon did that, you would say something. All of us would say something. Like, that is unacceptable. However, the word on the street, Juan does his own thing anyway. You just keep giving us fodder to run with, Robin. It was just weird. It would have been different if she just made a comment. But to actually touch someone without their consent, there's a lot of things I could say here, especially with the recent stories with Juan Dixon and the word on the street that I've been hearing about the whole situation with Juan Dixon. You about to lose your job, allegedly. Anyways, moving on. So, why are we in Miami and not having a good time? That's the biggest issue for me. We're in Miami and it's not a fun trip. Charisse, why are you here? Because she's not fun either. Anyways, so Giselle calls out Ashley for being a hypocrite for, her defense of Monique. Now she's trying to say she's against violence. Giselle, we could call you out for being hypocritical too. Literally hypocritical. You want to check in on Mia when Mia's the one throwing bags and throwing drinks. All right. So Candiace is just very disturbed by the whole situation. She gets emotional when talking to Ashley and Karen about Wendy being alienated. You literally see it. And we've been calling it out recently. Like, they are trying to ice this woman out. And Candiace is just like, I can't believe that they're doing this to her. And she probably sees the writing on the wall because next minute it'll be her. And I know what some of you Candiace haters will say. Some of you call me a Candiace hater too. I hate everyone equally. All of you are going to say, well, it was okay when she was doing it with Giselle against Monique. Well, then there's that. I'm speaking to all the people. Here I go twerking on the fence. Should I just get up and twerk? Shut up. I'm not doing it. All right. So Candiace gets emotional about it, and then Robin's in the pool. She's like, why is she crying? Robin, speaking of twerking on the fence, you need to choose a side at this point. But we already know what side you've chosen. One minute you want to be friendly with Candiace and defend Candiace, and you're like, oh, that's not what Chris would do. You should be calling out your friend for playing this whole situation out the way that she's been playing it out. I mean, I was wondering why Candiace was crying too, but I get it. Look, we don't know the conversations that are being had between Candiace and Wendy. Wendy said she was crying all night in the hotel room. And I don't blame Wendy for crying. I know some people are like, why is she crying? Because she probably feels really alienated from this group. And she feels probably like, well, they're trying to push me out of this situation. Like, why can't I have everything that I'm having and be a part of the situation and have a good time? I'm pretty sure that Wendy probably hasn't had a good time being on this show. When it's really meant to be, yes, reality, but also meant to be a place to have a good time and be, it should be a fun experience as well. And I'm sure at BravoCon, Dr. Wendy got to finally get that feeling of love from the fans, but also some fun. Anyways, so we get that. Candiace gets emotional. They decide, because Karen goes to Mia, because Karen is a grown woman, and she's just like, Mia, I would like for Wendy to join us for this part of the day. And Mia, being petty, Queen Petty, is like, no, I don't want to do that. So the ladies decided, you know what? Ashley, Candiace, and Karen say, we'll go meet up with Wendy and do a little separate thing. And Mia does not like that. Mia goes to the car and tells Ashley and Candiace that they need to pack their bags. You're not sleeping in the house anymore. Girl, it's not your house. It's not paid by you. I know you want to play it like, because it's my trip. You are annoying. If anything, producers should have sent her home. Producers, she should have been sent home. Honestly. I don't know why she wasn't. I don't know why this was navigated the way that it was navigated, because her throwing a drink and then trying to hit Wendy with a bag, she should have been sent home. Technically, based off of Mia's own Twitter, when she was trying to call out her then friend Jacqueline, is this the type of behavior that Bravo TV condones? I want to know, because you should have been sent home and never returned.
Period. Dot.
Just saying. Honestly, I think based off the fans, I don't think Mia will be coming back. Guys, in the live chat, in the comment section, do you think that Mia should be able to return based off of her behavior these last couple of episodes? Let me know. So Mia revokes her invitation to the home to Ashley and Candiace. Ashley decides when she meets up with Wendy and Karen. Sidebar, when I was watching Wendy and Karen, and remember when it was Wendy, Karen, and Escala? Oh, hey, Escala. And they were all in that separate house that Candiace sent them to. Sorry, Candiace, I gotta be honest. I liked seeing them get along. Is it a true deep friendship? No. However, I think it could be if they naturally make it happen. You don't force it. I think it could be a fun group of people to watch together, personally. Well, anyway, so they all meet up with Wendy, and of course, Ashley sends a text message to Mia to let her know, I will be sleeping in the house. I don't know what you're thinking, but I will be sleeping in the house. Okay. Look, I agree with Ashley in this moment, okay? So this is when Wendy drops some tea. Peter, I don't know why they're even allowing Peter to infiltrate this group the way that he has already. But basically, Wendy says Peter's then girlfriend had issues with Mia, and then Peter was the one who pretty much cut Mia off. Well, apparently Peter came back into her life conveniently when she got back on Real Housewives. So Peter was just like, we can be friends again. Peter, go sit down. So Wendy drops that tea. He's just all in the mix. Someone rolled the tape for Nene what she said. Sidebar, did you guys see all the photos from Portia's wedding? Her 2-day wedding. She had her traditional Nigerian wedding on Friday, and then she had her American wedding on Saturday, and she looked gorgeous in both. No one's going to take away from Portia Williams that she is a gorgeous woman. Simon Gobadia, we'll move on. So Wendy drops that tea about what Peter said about Mia. All right. So another sidebar. So Giselle says to Mia, when I was out by the pool and I was looking up, I saw 2 people in the shower together. And of course they asked them, have you guys ever been together? They deny it. I don't know why they would deny it. I think we all kind of got the vibe that maybe that was a thing, if anything. Ladies, this is a question for you. Do you shower with your girlfriends? I don't shower with my boyfriends or my girlfriends. So I don't understand what that is. But you all, I'm open-minded. Is that a thing? I can understand maybe in the bathroom with each other and maybe you've seen each other's stuff. But to be in the shower washing together? But now I'm really trying to grasp what happened between Mia and Jacqueline. I think Jacqueline was trying this trip to really defend Mia, and I think she's gotten tired of it. And I know some of you are like, maybe she got tired of it after doing the show. Well, maybe it highlighted parts of Mia that she had seen before, but she's just like, this is too much. I won't. And that might be the reason why their friendship is over. Jacqueline, don't turn back. Not even for a Bravo check. Don't turn back. Get that toxicity out of your life. And I really do believe that Mia is toxic, especially as a friend. And we see that play out because she's expecting Karen to pick her side no matter what she says or does. That's not the type of friendships that I have. There is no way in hell that if I see a friend doing something wrong, that I'm going to always support that. My friends already know that. And I can only imagine Karen being a tourist, she's not going to support that either. So that all breaks out, and so we have that situation. Candiace and Wendy go to the studio together, and we have that scene of them in the studio with Trina. And I have to say, I like seeing this. First of all, like I said to you before, I've interviewed Trina before. Trina is just a lovely person, and her advice to Candiace. I know you all are thinking, what did you think of the song? I like Trina's part.
The music ain't that great. I listened to it on the iPod.
I'm sorry, I got to be honest, especially with my musical background. I like Trina's part, but I did like I get it for Candiace. This is an amazing opportunity. She is solidifying herself. She's going pretty far as a musician, as a singer. Despite the reality TV curse when it comes to being a singer, not a lot of people can do the music and make a name for themselves. She is making a name for herself. Do I love all the music? Not necessarily. I mean, there are a couple of songs. I did like the remix to her wedding song, and I did like Drive Back a little bit. Am I gonna like all of her music? No. Does she have a good voice? Yes. Okay, leave me alone. But I did like that scene. I did like seeing Dr. Wendy Estefo, support her. I've said this countless times. I feel like Dr. Wendy does support Candiace. The other thing, I need the slithering to be in the music video. We need the slithering in the music video. Karen needs to lead them. And I love the flashback to the slithering scene. So anyways, the last scene that we get, the ladies are back at the house. And sidebar, I have to say, Karen was right. When Mia said that she was having a person come there to fix her nails, she's like, why not do that for the entire group? Because Karen, you are a great host and Mia is selfish. No matter if she's saying, I'm throwing a fabulous trip. No, Mia is selfish. She's only thinking about herself. Yes, she did break her nails on her own, but it would have been a great opportunity to treat the ladies. You're staying at this house in Miami. That would have been nice. Besides, we know what it is. That means that she would have to actually pay for something. Anyways, so the final scene we get with Mia and Karen, and that is where I'm just like, okay, Mia, you're done. We are tired of you expecting what Karen blind loyalty. And Karen's like, I'm not going to even do that. She's like, I'm still waiting to celebrate my birthday. We truly have not celebrated my birthday at all at this point. I feel like this trip to Miami is a complete bust. I don't think that it's been entertaining. It hasn't been fun. So many of you have said that it's been quite triggering. I get that. But it's, for me, putting everything to the side, it hasn't been fun. It hasn't been fun to watch. There haven't really been a lot of fun moments. If anything, there were small moments, but that for me is not enough to make a show. This is a girls' trip. It should be fun and entertaining. And right now, it is not. It is not fun or entertaining. And based off the preview for next week, it looks like it's going to be even less entertaining. And apparently someone recorded Candiace, and that's what we're going. Candiace and Robin, I can already see them going at it at the reunion. Because at one point you think that Robin has your back and is on your side. Now she's like, oh, I see how you are, Candiace. And basically someone recorded Candiace calling out the girls and saying that they're not real and they're fake and da-da-da. Okay, it's a preview. We don't know exactly how this all played out. I'm not sure how Robin got this recording, but she decides, if that was your real friend, Robin, you would have pulled her to the side and said, I heard you said this about me. But no, you want to have a moment because Robin is working overtime this season to secure her spot, because we told you her spot has been on a shaky ground. She's lucky to still be there. And a lot of you are like, why is she still there? I don't know. But she's working overtime this season to secure her spot. Well, Robin, I wonder what your storyline will be next season. You going it alone? Because I just don't see you marrying Juan Dixon. And Juan should be very upset at you rubbing that young man. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation below. I had a lot more to say last week. This week, not so much, because it's just like, what are we talking about? What are we watching? It's not that entertaining. But maybe there were moments that you want to talk about. Let's have that conversation in the comment section. As always, be sure to like the video, be sure to subscribe, and don't forget we have a new membership tier added to our membership. Head on over to TheKempire.com/join, and don't forget to get your fall merch while supplies last at houseofkempire.com. I'll see you guys in the next video.